What's up and welcome back to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Friday, September 1st, 2023. I can't tell you how funny it is when only one of them goes off and it sounds like that.
At what point are we just going to give up on the smoke machines? I'm surprised we've made it this far.
I mean, I'm surprised that see, I'm from another perspective than you.
Okay.
I feel like they work way more than I ever expected that they would.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
But I don't know why they don't work when they don't work.
I think there's a strong,
weird.
maybe I'm overestimating, but I feel like there's a strong 10% of the time where they don't work the exact way they're supposed to work.
Yeah.
And it's like just enough to where we keep doing it because it's like, well, the 90% of the time it works, right? But then that 10% is like, maybe we should slow this down. Like, maybe we should reconsider this. But I'm with you that, like, the fact that, we've gotten this far into the studio and we still have smoke machines that work this well is a surprise. It
is definitely a surprise, but there's just something I can only describe as limp about what just happened.
Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah.
That's not getting anything done. But we're going to get a lot of things done today because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily for Friday, September 1st, 2023. We're in September.
We're in September.
We're in Q4. Is that right? No, it's not.
We're at the end of Q3.
Yeah,
September, October, November, December. Oh yeah, 3 months now.
We're in third.
Numbers
we're in
are hard.
third three. We just started the last.
Yeah, we started the last third. That's how people talk about things in video games. But of course, I'm Tim Geddes, joined by the new face of video games, Blessing Adeoye Jr.
New version of the Blessing Super Fun Game release calendar is out right now. It is version 1.3. You can go to kindoffunny.com/calendar to get the full thread of Blessing Super Fun Game release calendar. Scroll to the last tweet, and that is the most updated version of what the calendar is. And let me tell you, the rest of this fall, it's a doozy.
I feel like there's been a lot of back and forth, right? A lot of shifting in the release dates.
Yeah,
in the last couple of weeks.
And that's why
this update's important.
Yeah, this update's important. I have all the shifts in there. I have there are fresh release dates that we're going to talk about later in the show. But things like Gunbrella, I've added in there. And like when you look at the rest of the year laid out, it's a nice time.
Yeah.
We got some wild days. We got Lies of P and Mortal Kombat. We've been talking about this a lot, right? Both of those are coming out September 19th. But then we got a nice steady pace of video games. Then we hit December, and we only got one big hitter in December: Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Yeah. That has a whole month to itself, Tim.
For now,
you don't know what's going to happen.
Maybe that'll be good. I don't know.
Do we think it still comes out in December?
Honestly, I'm pretty 50-50 on it.
I think so.
I think it definitely could, and I think it definitely could get delayed. But I do think that I don't think it's going to get delayed because the game's not ready. I think it's just at this point more strategy of releases for fiscal quarters and all of that stuff when it comes to Ubisoft.
But like November, we got Star Ocean, the second story arc,
which looks beautiful,
which looks gorgeous. We got Thirsty Suitors, got WarioWare Move It, we got Like a Dragon Gaiden, we got COD Modern Warfare 3, Checkmate Showdown, Persona, Super Mario RPG. Like, even in that month where, I think a lot of the focus right now is on September, October because of the big hitters. Even November has, oh, man, I'm going to be nonstop gaming.
Nonstop gaming.
I was nonstop gaming
about 3 months ago.
Yeah, no, it was that thing where, we filed in our Starfield review, and for a second, I'm like, thank God I can rest. I can go a few weeks out without playing video games because, of course, I'm coming off of an Armored Core 6 review and a Starfield review, which overlapped. We didn't talk about that. The fact that, Starfield codes came in as I was still playing and reviewing Armored Core, and I still beat it twice. But yeah, did these games back to back to back. Okay, cool. Now I can rest. And Tim got another code in yesterday for a highly anticipated video game.
Video games are cool, everybody. Video games, including Starfield. Today we're talking the Steam numbers being absolutely wild, layoffs at Gearbox, and more, because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we get together live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames and youtube.com/kindoffunnygames to come at you with all the video game news that you need to know. If you can't watch live, do not fret, my friend. You can watch later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames or roosterteeth.com. If you want to, as a podcast, search your favorite podcast service for Kind of Funny Games Daily, and we will be right there for you. If you wanted to go above and beyond, though, patreon.com/kindoffunny is where you want to go. You get the show ad free. You get a whole bunch of bonus content. Thank you all for your support in August. It has been a record-breaking month for us. You are fantastic. So many new people there that get to enjoy all of the content that we put out on a near daily basis exclusively over there on Patreon. So Thank you so much for that. Those people include our Patreon producers, Brave Athos, Jedi Master Deadpool, and Delaney Twining. Thank you all so very much.
And all those people are going to be able to watch a very special episode of the Kind of Funny Next Gen podcast tomorrow morning. So don't miss out on that over on patreon.com/kindoffunny. It's a great episode. A
big reveal that you're not going to want to miss. And you won't see coming. As a reminder, little housekeeping for you, our Starfield review is up. I mean, let me just tell you, there's Starfield content every which way you look here at Kind of Funny, whether it's YouTube videos, podcasts, or TikToks and social videos. We've been crushing it. Very proud of the entire team. So please go support, go watch the review, go watch our first hour video that Roger edited that is Barrett, Blessing, and Greg's first hour all mixed into 1 hour that you get to watch. And just go check out Kind of Funny Games TikTok. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff we always post there, but there's a bunch of Starfield videos there. And of course, our review you can go check out now. And an Xcast that is the entire Xcast crew talking about your questions for Starfield that they got to answer. Yep. I think the first Xcast ever that the entire crew of Mike, Gary, and Parris live in the studio.
Yep.
So
together.
Very special, very cool. But on the other side of things, there's a new PS I Love You XOXO up. It's Greg and Bless talking about PS Plus, PlayStation Portal, and justifying your crazy PS5 purchasing decisions. This sounds like a fun one.
Yeah, so Greg came across this TikTok thing on his algorithm called Girl Math, right? And it's this radio show that takes in call-ins, and people call in and they're like, hey, I'm buying these really expensive bed sheets or whatever. And the hosts justify and bring down the price of, oh yeah, like, I mean, you're gonna get 10 years of use out of that thing, right? Like it's like what, $20 a year based on that. And if you sell this, like you'll end up making that money back. And the goal is to get that number down to zero, right? So you're able to justify that price.
Awesome.
We basically did gamer math, which is us doing the PS5 version of that, of people calling in. We're talking to audience live on the show, and people are talking about, hey, I want to buy the PlayStation Portal. Hey, I want to buy the Spider-Man 2 PS5 Special Edition. And we're going through and we are talking them through their purchase decisions and helping them get that number down to zero. And it is a must-listen, must-watch episode of PS Love You.
Well, go check that out, everybody, on all the normal places. And then over on Patreon, New Kind of Feudies up today, where Parris joins us. Bless asked the crew to name a character that was in the Celebrity Deathmatch game for PS2, and it shook us all to our cores.
A lot of must-watch content this week.
Dude, we've been crushing it. So yeah, go check that out, whether you can support on Patreon or if you just watch for free. There's a ton of places to do all of that. No Games Daily on Monday because of Labor Day, so keep that in mind, but we will return on Tuesday. But here's the big thing. Right now, something very special has been going on since 9 a.m. yesterday. We have been live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames playing Starfield, and there's no end in sight right now. The longer you support, the longer we're going to keep going. We have made it over 24 hours. There are still many, many hours remaining. Mike has been playing so long. He's resting right now. In his place is one Greg Miller. Can we get a check-in on Greg Miller? There he is. Look at him.
Greg, do you read us? I
read you, Mission Control.
How you doing, Greg?
I'm good, Tim. How are you?
I'm really good. You having fun?
I mean, yes.
Uh-oh.
I enjoy playing Starfield. However, I am horrified at the progress or lack thereof progress that Mike has done in 24 hours. I am doing I want to dismiss Sarah, and I was like, why can't I get rid of her? Oh, it's because she is this still a tutorial mission? This is still a tutorial main mission. This man was carrying 14 different outfits of clothes. You have a ship. You can store it there. They had not made a manual hard save since 30 minutes into the stream yesterday. It had been 23 and a half hours without them making a save file.
It's rough.
It's rough. So what's your plan right now? What are you up to?
I am getting him back on track, all right? He has way too many guns. I ditched a whole bunch. We're going to double down on ballistics. We're going to do this mission so we can get rid of Sarah since she sucks. Then, I'm very excited about this. You guys are going to do that. We're going to ditch Sarah. I'll do a little side stuff, but when we come back, I'm going to show my favorite mission in the game / my favorite side quest in any RPG of all time. We have a TikTok going up detailing it, but I'll do a live walkthrough here because Mike's got the mission.
I love that.
Yeah, that's super exciting.
Yeah, very, very cool. So you guys can go check that out after Games Daily. They're going to
give me so much anxiety because like I can't imagine playing an RPG for 25 hours and then handing it over to somebody else to fuck up everything that I just did.
I know. That's what we're doing.
Getting
here.
rid of his guns?
That's what we're doing here. Do we still have Greg's audio here? No, okay, we don't. It's okay. Totally cool. But anyways, yeah, this is happening. Y'all can hang out with them all day long after Games Daily. They will be streaming. Can I get the check, Barrett, on how many hours are remaining?
Yeah, do we know how many hours are remaining, one Kev Dog?
10 hours, 31 minutes as of right now.
So we're still going 10 hours, everybody. So strap in and have a great day here with us at Kinda Funny. But enough about all that right now. Today we're brought to you by Rocket Money and Netflix's One Piece, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 6 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Bless preps the show like he writes it all, and there's a section where you put the number of how many stories there are, and then there's a backup part that has put the number of stories here, and both just said X, and I looked at him and panicked, and he just threw up the 6.
As you're reading through, I was like, oh shit, I forgot to do that. And so I quickly scrolled down, and I was gonna write the number in, but you got there too quickly, so I was like, how am I gonna tell him how many stories there are? I just fucking hold up my fingers.
That was fantastic. Story number 1. Starfield has hit over 230,000 concurrent players in its first 2 hours on Steam. This comes from Chris Scully.
I'm going to pause you. Did you know we had a baker's dozen emote?
No, I didn't. Is that new?
I think Restream usually doesn't show the emotes.
No, they do.
So is that
we've had the baker's dozen for at least a month, I think.
I've never noticed it once.
I mean, really you cool. Also, slight spoilers for tomorrow's Next Gen podcast. You never realize that I wear hats often.
Okay, well, every day. But also, I'm not perceptive. But I am also reading chat all the time on the show. And Tim's with me. I've never once seen this.
Yeah, I've never seen this.
I think it might be a restream.
I see it every day.
Huh.
I see it every day because I have restream chat up over here every day, and I see it there.
I have never seen that, man.
No.
Starfield's hit more than 230,000 concurrent players in its first 2 hours on Steam, despite only being in its early access period. I know we're already just going off the fucking rails on this shit. I know we talked about this last week or so, but there's that video of the woman on the plane freaking out.
That motherfucker back there isn't real.
I still haven't seen the video.
Are you kidding me?
So, like,
how the fuck have you not seen the video?
I haven't seen it. I've just, like, heard about it so much.
There.
And I've seen pictures.
Isn't real. Wait, can we find the video? I'm going to find the video.
I don't have context for it. I don't understand anything. But what I do
I've referenced it so much.
I know.
That's so fucking funny.
Starfield hit more than 230,000 concurrent players in its first 2 hours on Steam, despite only being in its early access period. That's wild. According to Steam DB, the game hit a peak of 234,502 concurrent. No, I said that wrong. You know what I mean. Concurrent players on August 31st at 10 p.m. Eastern time, just a couple hours after it had launched. This was the 6th highest peak concurrent user count on Steam in the past 24 hours, even though the game isn't officially released until September 6th. Well, that stat doesn't sound that impressive. Players who buy Starfield's Premium Edition or Constellation Edition get up to 5 days of early access to the game, while everyone else has to wait for the official release. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, you know, we keep talking about these numbers. They keep being killer. The big thing is this game's going to come out next week on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Wowzers.
Where do you think this game lands in terms of the amount of people that are going to play it this year? Do you think it ends up being the #1 most played game of the year?
Oh, I mean, the problem with that is recorded stat-wise, probably. But, like, we just won't know. Like, I don't think Call of Duty talks about its numbers that way. Or does it?
I mean, Call of Duty talks about sales.
Yeah.
We also have Harry Potter, which was like multi-platform too, and was also a juggernaut at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, but like, I mean, this is also multi-platform, right? Like, this isn't on PlayStation or Switch, but it being on PC as well as Xbox and it being on Game Pass, I think opens it up in a way, and it being a new big Bethesda title. Like, this is a thing that me and Parris are talking about on Remember Blank we recorded yesterday, which I believe is also going live today, which is a lot of content. All Starfield stuff too, which is really exciting. But it was a one-on-one Remember Blank. It was me and Parris, and we were talking about just like our Bethesda game memories. And we're kind of going through the history of like, yo, remember the Skyrim launch? Like the Skyrim launch was insane. Like I was somebody who wasn't tuned into the Elder Scrolls side of things, and Skyrim 11/11/11 was such a moment that immediately I got it. Immediately I was like, oh, this is a fucking big deal. This is one of the biggest deals of the year in terms of video games. Then you jump forward to Fallout 4 and how big of a deal that was, and how throughout the year of 2015, I was that person who was like, oh, game of the year is going to be Fallout 4, right? I was saying this in like the beginning of the year. That game was coming out in November. Yeah. At the top of the year, I was already like, yo, Fallout 4 hits this year, nothing's touching Fallout 4, right? And like there's that level of hype and anticipation that you have for a Bethesda game that I think is different, right? It's almost like a Rockstar game where it's like, oh, this is a once in a generation type experience. And I remember even like in 2015, Witcher 3 came out, Metal Gear Solid 5 came out, all these other games came out, and I was still on that Fallout 4 train. And Fallout 4 came out and got reviews that were great, right? But it wasn't like masterpiece level 10s across the board. I think if anything, it was probably similar to Starfield. And with that, I was still like, I don't care. I'm gonna play this game. I'm gonna love this game, right? Like that's the amount of hype that people have for Bethesda titles.
My watch just called my mom's doctor, and so yeah, whatever.
Name Dr. Fallout? Did I say what?
She just heard about some like literally it was like she answered the call and heard about some Starfield there from my watch. I don't like that.
Really
at all.
Cool.
Taking this off.
Are they a fan?
Do
you think they got the references?
Probably not.
They're like listening and like, oh, this is a really good conversation. Yeah, man, podcasts are good.
Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, yeah, you're good. But no, for me, it's the thing of there's very few things like a big Bethesda game launch, right? It is a Rockstar launch. It is maybe a Naughty Dog launch, right? Like it's maybe a Zelda launch. Like these are so few and far between, and so so astronomic, right? That like you look at the amount of people that are probably going to play Starfield, and it's going to be a lot of people. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it is the most played game of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if it, totally surpasses Harry Potter, or Hogwarts Legacy, despite it being multi-platform, despite it being Harry Potter and all these things. I think Bethesda and Starfield and just what that is to people has so much juice.
I think you're right, but I do think the sheer numbers of the Switch and PlayStation install bases, I feel like allow the true multi-platform games to just get such a leg up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it'll be close. Like I think
I look at Baldur's Gate 3 also. Baldur's Gate 3 is multi-platform, but it came out on PC exclusively at the start, right? For that first month. And you look at those numbers and that was already hitting those things, right? And like, again, we're talking about single platforms versus multi-platform or whatever. I think PC is going to do a lot for this game.
Yeah,
like PC is probably going to have a bigger player base than the Xbox version.
No,
you don't think so?
No, not a chance.
Interesting.
I don't think there's a chance of that. I think that Bethesda games have become console first.
I disagree with that.
Starting with I'd say Skyrim. I feel like in terms of like amount of users, not dedication of users.
Okay.
Yeah,
because like,
of course the modding community and
that's
all
my
of
thing.
that.
I think the modding community makes that a PC thing. Also, and maybe this is just a personal thing, right? But like playing Starfield on PC, such a better experience than playing it on console. And maybe that's just the transformation of blessing into a PC gamer. But I do think that there's enough arguments there for people of, oh, I'm going to pick this up on PC just so I can do the mod stuff, that you're going to see like that number get jacked up compared to other games that are like, oh no, of course consoles are outpacing this thing.
Yeah, it's really interesting to look at. You're talking about how big a deal Bethesda games are, and obviously you're right there. Like I think back to the E3s I've been to, and I've been to, I want to say over 10 E3s, and it is so rare that an E3 has a one game event that is like, yo, motherfuckers, like there's so much shit here, but there's one thing that matters more than others. And even with that, I feel like there's levels to it, where I remember when Titanfall 1 was being shown off, it was the game. It was like, yo, you need to get your hands on this. This is the first true next gen experience.
Yeah.
Relative to the time, like it is so important. This is the game. This is the one, and so much conversation around that. But there's two separate games that I think will never be hit again in terms of like the sheer talk of the show, and that was Skyrim and Cyberpunk. Those are the two games that like it was like, yo, all eyes on this. Their boots were insane, like all of that. Or Cyberpunk was more of a behind closed doors thing, but it was like the hot ticket item. And to be here now and see the follow up to Skyrim in a lot of ways, right? Like this is And then, Fallout 4 also having a big E3 moment with the way that it did its the Bethesda showcase, announcing the game, and then 3 months later it comes out, right? Yeah. Bethesda is a huge deal, and their first new IP is coming out, right? Like that's a big deal in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun and interesting watching the timeline go crazy over it in the last few weeks, right? Part of that is reviewers and media and people being able to say that, oh yeah, we got encodes. I think that maybe compounded it, but just the level of discussion around Starfield has been unlike the other big games of the year, right? Where like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is easily one of the most anticipated games of the year, right? Up until its release, but the conversation about that leading into it versus the conversation about Starfield leading into it has such different vibes where they're in, maybe it's the Xbox exclusivity, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, but I do think it is that core of people are like hungry, people are thirsty for something that is a big new Bethesda title that is going to hit and is going to be something that they pour themselves into. And yeah, like I think there's something that just hits different when it comes to something like this. And so I'm very curious to see, once more people get their hands on it, what this game does in terms of numbers, what it does in terms of reception and conversation, because right now we're seeing early access, and right now we're seeing, I'm like, regardless of what review scores are, I think like this game gets 7s across the board. I still think that there would be a level of like passion and like fan devotion to this game that would carry it through. Like at a certain point, I don't think critical reception matters to a game like Starfield.
Oh, absolutely not. We're talking about impact, right? And I think that's the question on everyone's minds, including Michael Restive D'Angelo. Hello, Befrienders. Starfield reviews are here, and it's sitting at an open critic of 86, with IGN and GameSpot both giving it an unremarkable 7. My question, is this enough? Is this the truck to knock down the dominoes? If this isn't that, are those dominoes now too big and too heavy and will never fall? What's the next route? Enjoy your day.
Befrienders.
He said befrienders, like best frienders, but a little cooler.
Oh, okay. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Put some sauce on it.
This is a topic that we've been talking about for years, it feels like, and that I think we're going to continue to talk about for years.
Yeah.
And I think that just seeing what we're seeing from the reviews and from where people are at and the general discourse of it all, I think it's pretty clear that Starfield is not the holy shit tentpole. This is the Xbox defining game of all time.
I would go the opposite. Like I think this is the first domino. I think this.
Oh no! Sorry.
Okay,
I think it is a domino.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I think it's clear that it's not it's not going to be talked about in the way God of War is talked about or Breath of the Wild is talked about. And that's the conversation we've had forever. This game needs to be a 10 for Xbox. And it's not. It's just simply not by any metric you're looking at. But I do think that this game accomplished its goals of what it was trying to be, which is to be Bethesda's new IP. The quality is there. Like we've never had a Gamescast that had that range of opinions on the same game, some people being pretty damn high on it, some people being pretty low on it, but all of it feeling justified and all of it being like a more personal experience to it all. I think one of the key points from the review that I took away was this is a Bethesda game and it's delivering for Bethesda people. And so I feel like, if anything, this just kind of defines where Xbox is at even more definitively than they already were. And I don't think that is a bad thing. It's just a lane for them. And they're going to break records with these numbers. There's going to be people playing this game for years and years and years. And if they can tweak and change some of the issues that the game has right now, that is getting it a 7 out of 10 review from some of the bigger sites, it could potentially have a No Man's Sky moment or a Cyberpunk moment in a way of like fixing some of the problems. But I think it'd be different for that game because of how massive it is, because of Game Pass, and because it's Bethesda. So there's going to be this long tail interest in playing the game and talking about the game, especially now that it is an Xbox game. Like Bethesda or Starfield is an Xbox exclusive.
I think this is fascinating because to the question of what does that big console defining game need to be for Xbox, and what do you need to be that big first domino to fall? I don't know if Bethesda or if Starfield needs to be a 10 out of 10 game across the board. And I also don't know if this might be a big statement. I don't think Xbox is ever going to have a Zelda Tears of the Kingdom or a God of War. And I don't think they need it. I think for what Starfield is, it is going to be a 10 out of 10 game for the people that like for the people that it's a 10 out of 10 for, right? And that might sound like well, that's everything, right? But like for Starfield, this is bigger than critical reception, right? This is bigger than, oh yeah, like I have some qualms and like that's gonna ding down my score or whatever, right? Like this is a game that is going to resonate with its audience, and you already look at like the reviews that are, yeah, like it's a 7 out of 10 reviews, and even my 3 out of 5 review, right? Like there are still things that I cite where I'm like, no, I had special moments in this game. Like there are in Dan Stapleton's review for IGN, he talks about how I think his main issue is just that this game takes a very long time to get going and get to a place where it's like, oh, this is really good now. But once you get there, there are so many special moments that you can have, and like there are ways that this game can hit for people. I listen to the way that Greg talks about it. I listen to the way that Parris talks about it. I look at the way that like, you know, Andy, and there are plenty of 10 out of 10 reviews from like other sites that aren't IGN and GameSpot. I think that is enough to like, one, prove that this game, like it's not a bad game, right? Like it's good to great to amazing depending on who you are. That plus this game is going to have incredible sales, right? To the point where it's going to compare, if not maybe surpass, a Tears of the Kingdom or a God of War, right? This is going to sell like a Bethesda game, which means this might do 30 million. It might do past that, right? Like if you're getting into Skyrim numbers over time, I think that is the first domino. Like I think that is what Xbox wants. I think that that separates Xbox from a PlayStation or Nintendo, because PlayStation's thing is we're making these polished single-player narrative action experiences, right? Like I think what PlayStation pushes the most in their games is that polish. I think what Nintendo pushes the most in their games is that charm and is that creativity and making a game that only Nintendo can make. I think Starfield feels like a different, no, this is what Xbox is doing. Like we are, like Xbox right now is this like RPG / first-person shooter machine, and I think Starfield might be the first step into curating this identity for Xbox that, you know, is showing that, no, this is the nerdy ass RPG, big scope, like type game that you might not be able to get on these other platforms. And I do think because of that, Starfield is very much the first domino.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think we're both aligned on this, that like this is defining the direction that these dominoes are going to fall. And I feel like that the conversation that we have been having for years of, is Xbox going to directly compete with PlayStation and Nintendo in terms of its exclusives that way? And I feel like it's kind of becoming clear. They're all doing their own thing in ways that they're succeeding at. And I think that this is the Game Pass structure and everything that Xbox has been building kind of really coming into fruition. And we'll see what this means when Call of Duty and all that stuff starts coming through, or not even Call of Duty, just the Activision side of things of how Xbox sees it all. But it's going to be very interesting to see this game get into the hands of everybody next week and to see where that conversation starts and where it ends or lands in terms of the impact that Starfield actually has. And its staying power, not for 5 years from now, but I think even just for a year from now. Yeah. Is this going to be a game that people are like still talking about in the same way, which they were about Skyrim, you know, they were about Fallout. So
we'll see.
Story number 2. Embracer has made layoffs at Gearbox Publishing. This comes from Justin Carter at Game Developer. According to former staffers' LinkedIn profiles, a series of layoffs have reportedly been conducted at Gearbox Publishing. Former employees throughout the summer and as recently as this week revealed they were let go from the publishing arm of the Borderlands developer. Quote, "No one saw it coming, but my contract and those of my colleagues who started in June had to be terminated," wrote translator Alan Jockmart in June. "We were simply victims of the group's restructuring." Gearbox is a subsidiary of Embracer, which said at the start of the summer it would cut jobs after spending so much money to acquire various studios and properties. The layoffs, and by extension, the projects canceled that affected studios, have been made in response to a reported $2 billion deal with Savi Games that collapsed back in May. At the start of August, Embracer shut down Danish studio Campfire Cabal, and earlier today announced the closure of Volition. In 2015, Gearbox began to publish games from third-party studios, with its debut title being the 2016 remaster of People Can Fly's Bulletstorm. Recent releases included Gunfire Games' Remnant 2 from July and Heart Machine's Hyper Light Breaker for 2024.
I've never seen a company in video games feel like a poison, more so than Embracer, where this is, I think, the clearest example of the danger and the fear that comes with consolidation that is like happening from this purely capitalistic standpoint of, hey, we're coming through, we got money. We're just gonna buy studios and see what happens. Like we're not gonna have any good strategy with it. We're not gonna like think too deeply about it. We're just gonna fucking buy up these studios and, you know, spend money to make money. We're not, and like going from that into then we talked about it yesterday with Parris, right? That deal that fell through earlier in the year where they had that financial call and they're like, yeah, like this thing fell through, and it turns out from reports that it was a Saudi Arabia thing. Having that fall through and having that be the result, or having this be the result, right? Gearbox layoffs, Volition shutting down, probably more studios shutting down in the near future from Embracer. It is such a heartbreaking thing, and it's such an undeserved thing for Volition, Gearbox, etc. Right? Like I've seen the conversations online of people being like, "Well, the last Saints Row sucked" or whatever, and like, cool, yeah, the last Saints Row sucked. That doesn't mean the studio should be shut down, right? Like, if anything, a studio should be given the chance to figure out what didn't work and like and go and build from there. And like, I understand that's not how things work every single time, but like, I think that Gearbox getting layoffs because you couldn't make a deal with Saudi Arabia is fucking crazy. Because like, yeah, you look at it and Gearbox has so much that they're doing, right? They have Borderlands, they have the games that they're publishing, they have things like Hyper Light Breaker, they have things like Remnant 2. These things shouldn't be affected because a lot of these products are great products that people are looking forward to. So yeah, this being the effect of Embracer might have been predictable, but also is still heartbreaking in every way.
That's it, man. Yeah, it's predictable and heartbreaking. It's so unfortunate, and it's not going to end. Like that's the worst part about it, because it's we keep seeing this over and over and over, and like so much of it with Embracer is going to continue to happen here. And like it all goes back to when I look at these new studios popping up now. It's like they need to, from the foundation, grow correctly. Do not grow too fast. Do not make the wrong decisions and balloon and then have to restructure and get rid of people. This word restructure keeps coming up, and it's a business necessity to do it. Like, or else there's not money to make things happen. But we shouldn't get there. There should be better plan. There should be smarter people in positions of power that are creating situations that a restructure doesn't result in teams getting dropped and many, many others getting dropped, which then makes the jobs harder for everyone else involved. Like, it's horrible.
I mean, I imagine those people are smart, but I think the people making those decisions, I think, unfortunately are selfish and not really thinking about, you know, the restructuring and what that actually does to people's livelihoods, you know?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's
the way of you're playing chess, you're playing games with people's lives, right? Where you look at on the ground floor of the people who work at Gearbox, the people that work at Volition, the people that do these things, the people that make our video games and like make these things that we really enjoy. Their lives are being played with like a chess game, where the people on top, you're purely looking at it as numbers. I think that's how you get to the place where you're making business decisions that hinge on bad deals, that hinge on, oh yeah, if you just keep spending money, we'll keep making money, right? And like to some extent, yeah, that's how capitalism works. But to another extent, if you're gonna play the game of capitalism, you gotta play that game smart.
Yes.
Like the publishers that we look at that are still around, that are still doing their thing, most of the time they're playing that game smart. There's some of the times where like, you know, big companies, we like Ubisoft or Bethesda or whoever, make business decisions where it's like, oh, you're going all in on games as a service. Good luck. Like that's not gonna do good for you, right? And it doesn't do good. And they still have these other pillars that keep them up, right? Ubisoft is still around, Bethesda's still around. Like these, and maybe that's because they get bought by Microsoft, but like they're still around is, I think, the thing that matters. The fact that as Embracer, you are just fucking gung-ho with this shit, and you're just making these decisions that feel like they have no regard for people's livelihoods, and you're buying up Crystal and you're buying up Gearbox, and because you do that, now Gearbox has fucking layoffs. Now Volition is no more. It's just irresponsible.
Volition.
A classic game developer, right? Like yesterday I was talking about how much Saints Row and Red Faction means to people, but I also mentioned Summoner, but I saw somebody online talking about free space and how like important free space was to video games when it came out. And like, yeah, you're letting that like get evaporated into nothing because you're here doing bad business and like, again, having no regard for people's livelihood. It's upsetting. It's fucking irresponsible. And yeah, like, I can't stand that. I can't stand this. I can't stand that this is happening.
Yeah. God damn it, Embracer. A little good news for everybody here to transition out of this. There's a new Rugrats game.
Let's go.
Coming to the Nintendo Entertainment System. The NES released in Japan 40 years ago, but a new Rugrats game is on the way to Nintendo's old console next year. Rugrats Adventures in Gameland is a classic mascot platformer based on the 90s Nickelodeon TV series, coming to PC consoles and the NES. The game is presented in retro 8-bit graphics, though modern versions will also include an HD graphics option to toggle on a smooth hand-drawn look.
Let's
you
go.
can play the game. Barrett, can you just skip forward a little bit in this to show the jump? You could also just play it.
Let's go. They did the Halo Master Chief collection.
Exactly, man. I think Wonder Boy did this as well. But yeah, you could play it looking like a modern game, but you could also play looking like an OG NES game, and it looks awesome. The game was shown at the Mix Showcase with Limited Run Games publishing physical editions of the game. Mix confirmed to VGC that the NES version will be released. As Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil, players will power through high-speed chases, sneak around as a baby stack trench coat, and destroy buildings on TV as Reptar. Freaking hell,
this
yes.
looks cool as hell. I've never seen something that was so tailor-made for me. Of like, you're telling me I can play this on the NES. Like, now I want to find an NES.
Oh yeah, dude.
And that's the other thing is like, good for y'all for making this. Like, it's such a cool, novel thing, and I hope this does well. Like, of course it's limited, so I'm sure they know the numbers that this is gonna do. But yeah, like making an NES game in 2023.
This sounds like they're doing
2024 too. That's insane.
I love this from every perspective because yes, they're doing the NES thing. They're actually putting it out there. That's rad.
Yeah.
It's also available on all of the consoles. It has the HD mode for the people that want that and just treat it like a more modern game. It's Rugrats.
Yeah.
An IP that people love, but like doesn't necessarily need a video game. Doesn't have people clamoring for it, but you put this out and there's interest.
Is there a Rugrats cartoon currently going?
Yes.
Is Rugrats still
there
around?
is. Paramount Plus has a like CG Rugrats reboot.
Gotcha.
Essentially. I think it's a reboot, but
okay.
It's really gross looking. I hate it.
Yeah, it's very.
But I imagine that
sure.
this looks. I mean, this looks way more like.
Oh yeah, I mean, this
than
is it's an NES game, right?
Yeah.
Like this straight up looks like a 90s Rugrats did. So I just think this is super cool, and I love this type of IP where we're at with licensing, where people have an idea for a game. They're like, yeah, I want this needs to be a Rugrats game specifically.
And the fact that this got greenlit is insane to me
awesome,
and
man.
really cool. Because you're going to Nickelodeon, you're going to Paramount, you're partnering with a video game developer. You're like I want to know how these conversations happen. Like, whose idea was this? Did this come from Nickelodeon? Did this come from Limited Run? Who had to reach out to who? That is a fascinating story.
Yep. Super cool. Really excited for this one. Greg Miller's up to something. But while he's doing all of that, I want to let you guys know you can go to patreon.com/kindafunny to get this show ad-free. But for everybody else, here is a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Rocket Money. Every single person I know that has tried Rocket Money has been shocked at how many subscriptions they have that they forgot about. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and it helps you lower your bills all in one place. Most people think they're spending about $80 a month on their subscriptions, when in reality, it might be closer to $200 plus when you're signed up for so many things like streaming services you use to watch one show or free trials for delivery you don't use. It's so easy to lose track of what you're actually paying for. With Rocket Money, you can easily cancel the ones you don't want with just the press of a button. No more long hold times or annoying emails with customer service. Rocket Money does all the work for you. Stop wasting your money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. That's rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. This episode is brought to you by One Piece on Netflix. The global phenomenon One Piece has finally gotten a live action adaptation on Netflix. This is an incredible world ruled by pirates, filled with never before seen superpowers and a hunt for a legendary treasure called the One Piece. It's an epic action adventure about following your dreams, searching for treasure, and ultimately finding your chosen family. The series was made by fans for fans, old and new. Showrunners Matt Owens and Steven Maeda are huge fans of the manga and come at their work from a fan-first perspective while still allowing new audiences to discover and fall in love with this story. Manga creator Ichiro Oda was involved in every step of the process at a level which was never seen before in any previous live-action manga adaptation. One Piece is an action-packed, warm-hearted, and joyful adventure that you don't want to miss. Don't miss One Piece on Netflix, August 31st. And we are back with story number 4. Everybody, get hyped. A new PlayStation a new PlayStation Stars collectible has dropped.
Let's
the
go.
one we've all been waiting for. The September digital collectible for PlayStation Stars is the PlayStation 3 wireless keyboard.
Oh, they did it.
You can see it now. There's the front of it. It's turning. There's the side. And there it is.
finally
There's
did
the
it.
back.
Oh, man.
All jokes aside, I love this as a concept. Like, I love the idea of the digital collectibles that are fungible. You know what I mean? I only want
Of
my
course.
digital collectibles fungible. I don't
Yes.
really know what that means, but
I think it means it can't be copied or some shit.
whatever the fuck it is,
Yeah.
right? But I just wish it was implemented in a more interesting way that like met us where we are. You get what I'm saying? Like implement
for
this
sure.
into a
Yeah,
system
'cause
that
you don't want to put in the effort to download PlayStation Stars and then keep up with the thing because it's in a different app and it's like, okay, now boot up 3 games or whatever. It's like, oh, I'm doing all this just so I can have a digital version of the PS3 keyboard. And where do I even find it? Like, do I go in the app? Do I go on like, yeah, I'm with you on the, you got to meet us where we are. I'm also on the mind of the mind of really like PS3 keyboard. That's where we're at with this. That's the collectible.
Do you want to know
A PS3 keyboard?
I had a hilarious conversation
cool
with
shit.
Andy Cortez yesterday. We were driving home, and someone sent the Slack of this, and he was like, "Holy shit!" When I read about this morning, I thought they announced a PlayStation keyboard.
yeah.
It's
I
just-
mean, it looks that way, right?
Yeah.
Like if you were to look at this,
And I couldn't have never told you in my fucking life, gun to my head, Barrett, did the PS3 have a wireless keyboard at some point? I'd be like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. I would
would've
only
died.
say yes because I assume every console did, but also I don't think I've ever seen this thing before in my life. This could have been made yesterday.
But
by
I mean, like,
Shuhei
look,
himself.
imagine how cool it would be if instead of this, there was like, I don't know, like if they made a game and in that game you were like going around worlds that were like showing off the tech of like a PlayStation 5.
See, that would be sick. And you
And
can
then
like,
as you're doing, you're collecting like pieces of PlayStation history.
and you can like run across the keyboard. Like the keyboard's like super big, and you can like hop around it, or like you can see a life size like PS2,
Yeah.
and like you hit the button, and the PS2 like disc tray comes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Astrobot, everybody.
Oh yeah, Astrobot.
Yeah. Yeah.
God.
Everyone, if you haven't played Astrobot, please do that. Please. It is so damn good. Astro's Playroom.
Astro's
Fantastic
Playroom.
stuff. And it's essentially this, but done right.
Yeah, done in a cooler way, gamified in a way that's fun. Like I think I was gonna say there's something there in PlayStation Stars. I honestly don't think there's something there in PlayStation Stars, but I think if you, I guess, take the core idea of a membership program where you're collecting things, there's something there.
There definitely is.
But you just gotta fucking recontextualize the shit out of it, right? Like I know I say this, and I'm probably wrong when I say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Bring back PlayStation Home. Like if you want to do this, sure. Like give me an apartment I can decorate with my PlayStation things. Let me display my PlayStation 3 keyboard, I guess, or just give me cooler shit to collect. Why am I collecting a PS3 keyboard? There's nobody on this earth that is passionate about a PS3 keyboard.
Yeah.
A PS2 console, yeah, like the PS2, like the little skinny version of the PS2. Oh, now that's cool. A fucking keyboard for the PS3. Give me characters. Give me a fucking Kratos plush to collect.
See, my thing is,
Give me the wrench.
I like this.
Give me
I
the
like-
Omni wrench.
I like that it's history that we don't know about. It's the shit of like, did you know there was a PS3 keyboard? No. Now I agree with
It's
you.
not the light gun for the NES though.
Yeah, well, but we all
It's the
know
PS3
that
keyboard.
exists. Like I like that they're getting weird. I don't know that they need to promote this on their main Twitter account though. Like, and because my thing is, I don't know. Somebody in your wrong, correct me on this. They must already have done these other ones, right?
I'm opening up PlayStation Stars right now because I'm getting to the bottom of this now.
It just sucks because it could be such a cool idea. It's just this is weird. It's just weird.
Okay, I'm on PlayStation. Let's see the So I'm a level 4 on PlayStation Stars, just so you know, Tim. When I look up the campaigns, there's Survival of the Fittest. Throw on your favorite skin, grab a friend, and dive into the mayhem of Battle Royale. Play any one of the thrilling games below to get your collectible. They want you to play either Battlefield 2042, PUBG, a game called Cursed with no U, or Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And the collectible, Tim, is chicken tikka masala. I'm not joking. That's deadass the collectible.
I can't even explain to you what I'm seeing right now. What we just saw with the PS3 keyboard spinning around, it's a dish of chicken tikka masala spinning around.
That's
What?
the collectible that you get by playing a battle royale. Let's see.
Is that the chicken dinner?
I guess that is technically a chicken chicken dinner.
Fuck.
Yeah, I guess technically that is a chicken dinner.
Fuck.
So yeah, okay, joke's on us. They got us. All right, let's see what else they got. Multiplayer mayhem. Oh, that's just coins. That's just points that you're getting. I want to see more collectibles. Okay, wind down with PlayStation. This one is called the rare collectible is called a nice cuppa. This is what it looks like. It's
just a cup.
It's a little PlayStation mug.
Oh yeah, when it turned around. Oh, you know what? Hey guys, this mug cooler than I thought. I first saw the back end because these collectibles spin around.
Yeah.
But when it came around, there is a PlayStation logo on the cup, and the handle is a DualShock.
Yeah. So the description of this one, right? Chill playlist, check. Well-worn spot on a comfy couch, check. Hot waffles to celebrate Waffle Day, double check. Was it Waffle Day? It's cozy game time. Come relax with us by starting any of the cozy games below to get your collectible. The cozy games are The Wild at Heart, Scarf, A Short Hike, or Abzu.
Story number 5. There's a Back
Get it
to the
together.
Future DLC coming to PowerWash Simulator. This comes from Victoria Kennedy. Yeah, you know when you want to do a spot of time traveling, but you get to your DeLorean and it's just cake top to bottom and all sorts of gunk and grime? No, you don't? Well, PowerWash Simulator developer Future Labs certainly does. Today, the jet-loving team announced the Back to the Future collaboration for its beloved Clean It Up game. Future Lab has said this DLC pack will be a faithful homage to Marty and Doc's time-traveling escapades. So what you can expect to clean on this DLC's release? Well, of course, you'll have to get your watery jets into every nook and cranny of the series time machine. It really wouldn't be a Back to the Future collaboration without it. Additionally, Doc's vans, Hill Valley Clock Tower, the Holomex Theater, and Doc's Time Train will all need to be sprayed to perfection.
I love
Good
it.
on you, PowerWash
Yeah,
Simulator. Just getting freaking weird. And like, you know, there's someone out there that's like, man, I really wish I could power wash the Back to the Future DeLorean. And now they get to.
Here's the thing. This is such a great strategy of the level of collaborations they're able to get, because the closest I've gotten to picking up PowerWash Simulator was during their SpongeBob collaboration. We had to go through and you got to power wash like SpongeBob's house and like the Krusty Krab and do all that stuff. It looked so good and so fun. And I almost picked it up, right? And like there was the Final Fantasy VII one,
and I almost picked it up for that.
Yeah, like I think they're doing a good job.
But they're going to get somebody. You know what I mean?
They're going to get somebody, and I'm sure with Final Fantasy and SpongeBob, they probably got a whole lot of people, right? Good for them.
Yeah, and it's the type of game once people get their hands on, they're in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is very, very, very smart marketing. I'm just like, we just need to make it just a little bit easier to welcome them into a new life of power washing. Story number 6. We got a couple of Devolver release dates. Devolver Digital tweets out, Gunbrella glides onto Nintendo Switch and PC September 13th, 12 days from now. God, that game looks awesome.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really cool. And then there's also a Gunbrella demo that has dropped on Switch and Steam, so you can check those out. Next up, Wizard with a Gun is coming October 17th. This looks pretty damn cool. You can pre-order now, get the exclusive Noble Wizard pack. So there we go. Have you heard much about this one?
Wizard with a Gun, yeah, it looks really rad. My problem with it is, I watched the trailer for Wizard with a Gun. It's a really cool, kind of like shoot 'em up kind of game. And it's coming out October 17th, Tim.
Oof.
What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
The same day as Sonic Superstars,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of days before Spider-Man and Super Mario Brothers Wonder, maybe like a week or so before Alan Wake 2. A couple days before Hot Wheels Unleashed 2.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for adding that one.
Oh, yeah, I had to. Now I'm just opening up Let's See Super Fun Game Release Calendar. A couple days after Lords of the Fallen. The week before, Tim, Wild Card Football. This game I'm looking forward to.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like a little NFL blitz. Like it looks really cool, but man, I feel like they got to get out of there. I don't know if October 17th is the date you want.
Dude, October 17th is definitely not the date I want. The date I want, is today. If I want to know what's coming to mom and grab shops today, where would I look?
You would look toward the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah.
What's going on with Greg?
It's a great question.
No, I'm fine doing it alone.
Greg, what's up? What you up to?
I'm down to hang out too. I don't have shit to do today. So.
Greg, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Bear. What's up?
How you doing? What's up?
Nothing, man.
update.
I just unlocked the ability to manipulate people with my mind amp.
Your mind amp. Wow. You cleaning up that save file? You feeling like you're making progress on this?
Oh yeah, we're in a great place. I'm excited to get that mission I was telling you about back up and running when we get back here full time. But right now we're just finishing off some of this Ryuju tech stuff he was doing.
Well, that's awesome. We're in the Out Today section now, so we're going to be heading over to you pretty soon.
Okay, Gunbrella,
everybody. Out today, we have 30XX on Switch, which this is one of those games we've heard about for so long that now it's here.
But like, I think there was 20X.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now 30X. Have you played either of these?
I played a little of 20XX. Really cool.
Yeah.
Haven't played this one though.
Or do you think this is one you might pick up?
I would want to, but
it's busy time.
Yeah.
The game looks cool. I kind of want to try it out, but also it's a very busy time. But it's like a Mega Man like game, but it's a roguelite.
Mega Man X like. Yeah.
Mega Man X. Fuck this. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna pick this up. It
looks pretty damn freaking cool. Then we have Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, PS5 and Xbox Series X, the Borderlands Collection, Pandora's Box on everything. Sorry, I said it that way.
Pandora's Box. Okay.
Starfield Early Access today on Xbox Series X and PC.
Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. I think I'm gonna pick up.
I hope
it looks really cool.
Hope you enjoy it. New dates for you. Long Gone Days is headed for release on October 10th on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. And now it's time to do a little thing I like to call You're Wrong, where you get to go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong and let us know what we got wrong. Brandon Rodriguez says, just thinking about Starfield Steam numbers, those would only be people who paid $100 for early access on just Steam. That is really interesting that I didn't realize the dollar sign attached to what backs up those numbers.
Making that moolah.
Yeah.
What I love about this is that you saw Brandon Rodrigue, and then like that got cut off because of the way Excel works.
Yeah.
And you double down on Rodrigo instead of Rodriguez, even though every other Rodrigue we'd get to, it would be Rodriguez.
100%.
But because you're such a fan of Olivia, you're like, maybe it's a Rodrigo. Maybe it's maybe Brandon Rodrigo's his name.
Plus, we haven't talked about Bad Idea, right?
I still haven't listened to it.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Man, I've just been busy, Starfield.
See, I feel good for you a little bit because the album's dropping in just a couple days. And a problem I had with Olivia Rodrigo's first album, Sour, is by the time I listened to it, I had heard the 3 singles, honestly, half of it 1,000 times. Yep. So it kind of interrupted the flow of the album. And also, let's just be real, I fucking love her, love the music.
Yeah.
But it's all the same.
1,000%.
Identical.
Yeah.
So it kind of is just like, it gets a little bit like samey and you lose the identity of some of it as an album at least. Mm-hmm. And so I have firmly listened to Vampire and Bad Idea Right, no less than 100 times each.
Jesus.
All right.
Christ.
So
that gets me excited because that means there's some good music
on it. Oh, there's some fun there. There's some fun for sure. Like Bad Idea Right, I don't think I've ever heard a early 2000s teen comedy movie as a song.
Okay.
But it captures a vibe, man.
Can I tell you? So I don't know did you watch Zoe 101 back in the day?
Cool Greg did, and so by osmosis I did.
Okay, so you know how Zoe 102 came out as a movie that followed up, and it's supposed to be like them as adults, and they're going to the wedding for a couple of people that went to their school or whatever. So I watched Zoe 102 because I'm a broken person, and as a kid I fucking loved Zoe 101, and I needed to know what the resolution was. I needed to know what the rest of the story was. Zoe 102, not great. If you're like me and you watched it back in the day, though, there's a lot to get out of it.
Hey, it's a 2 out of 5. You love like a 5 out of 5.
Exactly. So yeah, if Cool Greg hasn't seen it yet, Cool Greg should watch Zoe 102 because it's gonna blow his mind. But there is a scene where Zoe sees Chase at this like the rehearsal dinner or whatever for their friend's wedding, and Chase shows up with like his girlfriend or whatever, and like they kind of have the interaction, and like Zoe, I think deep down still has feelings for Chase. But Chase has moved on. And the next scene is Zoe driving like down a hill with Good For You playing in the background. And it's such a on the nose, like, oh, y'all really picked this song because it is the entire description of the scene that we just went through.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Power.
Like this is powerful. This is on another level of on the nose soundtrack like picking songs. And so yeah,
I mean,
Zoe 102.
You literally can't watch a Netflix original movie right now that's been made in the last 3 years without an Olivia Rodrigo song playing.
Good for her.
Specifically, Traitor. You betrayed me. Da, da, da.
Is this one of the new ones?
No, this is from the first album. But like, it is in every freaking movie ever. Because, dude, these little kids, man, they just be feeling them goddamn feelings. I just want her to find love. I just want someone to treat her right. You know?
Has she not? Has she not?
But she's also like a child, man. Like, just grow up, be an adult. Go, like, just live your life.
She's living well.
19 is hard, Barrett.
It's so hard.
It's a tough age
we
to
all
be.
lived it, and we all, you know what? We all thought, you know, the world was falling apart at 19 when, you know, a breakup happened. But here's the thing: you're fucking 19 years old.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Saltwater Cowboy says, Tim, she's a teen. Come on, man. What the fuck are you even saying? Like, what do you mean, come on? I'm supporting her.
Music is music, all right?
Dude, I appreciate the shit out of her. I want her to feel her feelings, man.
Oh, yeah.
She's kicking ass, dude. She has such a great career ahead of her. But anyways.
Also, shout out to Sabrina Carpenter.
Fuck yes, dude.
Sabrina Carpenter out there doing the damn thing.
Listen to her album for the first time last weekend because the nonsense TikToks got me.
Yes.
Right?
That's how I ended up at her concert.
You went to her concert?
Yeah.
Wait. What?
It was one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my life. No, because it was what? I got a text from Belinda, and Belinda was like, hey, me and Holly are going to the Sabrina Carpenter concert. Do you want to come through? And I was like firmly in that TikTok algorithm of getting all the nonsense performances. And so I'm like, you know what? I'll go just for that song. Like, let's go. And when I tell you that I was the only dude in that room, like, felt so weird, felt so uncomfortable. Like, her
hit me up. I would have been there, Bless.
I should have hit you up.
Wait,
Like,
when was this?
This was like probably like 5 months ago.
Holy
something like
shit.
that. Yeah, she did a great job though. Her and the opener was fucking great. I think they're called Spill Tab. Fantastic performance from her. And Nonsense, fucking
come
great.
on.
But also, Nonsense is the only song I know by her.
Well, me too. But I was so in on that shit that I was like, I'm gonna give this album a try. I really enjoy it, dude. A little more eclectic. I don't know that it's all bangers, but like when it hits, it hits.
Oh yeah. No, I was in that concert venue just like, man, yeah, if I could have brought Tim, this would have helped out the situation a lot. Because it was me, it was the two girls I was with, and then it was just a bunch of like teenage girls. And I'm like, I do not belong in this place whatsoever.
Yeah.
But hey, you know. And so I think like most people probably thought I was a father. like, oh, this dude had kids young, I guess. Like,
yeah,
he's here with his two daughters. I'm like, yeah, my two daughters that look older than me. I don't know.
I love it so much. I also love this show, Kind of Funny Games Daily. Of course, we come at you with all the video game news you need to know every single weekday, except for next Monday because it's Labor Day. So no show next Monday, but Tuesday it'll be Greg and Bless. Wednesday it'll be Bless and me. Thursday, Bless and me. Friday, me and Bless, unless any of that changes. And if you're watching live, remember, we are going to be streaming for at least 10 more hours over on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, playing Starfield. You can see Greg right now. We're about to get full back to that as he tries to save Snowbike Mike's save. And Mike will return later in the night if we get there and keep pushing. So thank you all for your support. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Enjoy your early access for Starfield. Have a great weekend. Have a great Labor Day. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.